Relax.
Puppy?
Yeah. What? Dude, download the Google Hangout app. Alex, why are you so fucking angry?
We'll find out soon enough. There we go. We are looking live. That's good.
Cool.
All right. Fire it up, footballers. James here with Kyle, and Moot's going to be hopping on. Maybe Steve, too. I'm not sure.
I don't think Steve's here.
So just like Kyle and Steve hopping on, going to be talking about the Crest. But just wanted to start off with a moment of silence for Pano, our dearly departed coach. Okay, that's good. And then
I think that's fair.
And then we'll have an actual real moment of silence for our dearly departed Crest.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Not yet. Not yet. We're playing taps for the old logo.
You playing the sound?
No, because it's not going to sound good.
Remember all the good times with that Florian's cross.
You see it?
Yes, we can. A little higher.
A little higher.
There it is. Make it flutter.
Wave it, baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
And there it goes.
You know, honestly, if I sat there for a minute and thought about it, that actually would have gotten really emotional.
That's why I wanted to give people that moment.
Yeah.
if
I think it hasn't been a moment. It's been about 12 hours that people have been talking about this.
We've been talking about it for over a week.
There it is.
Since it's been leaked. Wow, there it is.
You know, it's kind of like you want to leak this? So we didn't know it was
Front office is like this either.
Oh, are we leaking that?
Where that from, but front office.
Oh, because nobody can see you. I have an anonymous source.
Say that again. We couldn't hear you.
Well, I'll say it because I'm not the original source, so I'm going to hide the identity of the original source. Okay, the original source actually just said it. So the front office is not a fan of the logo either, which begs to question why it exists. I'm not going to worry about it. We talked a little bit on the show. I'll get used to it. And in fact, it's like seeing a celebrity for the first time. You see him on TV, you know, like with all the room, they can hear you. You just can't hear him.
I can't hear. I'm not saying that.
You're not saying he's still in this moment of silence. So, but seeing when it came out a few days, 4 or 5 days ago, that leak, and you're just like, no way, that's real. There's no way. And then every day goes by and then something else comes out and you're like, what the hell? And then another day goes by and you're like, what the hell? And then you see the copyright and you're like, oh my God. And now it's in my living room. It is real. It is. I'm not as upset as some people are.
Where was the flag made?
What's that? Where was it made?
Where was check where the flag was made?
Can you check where the flag was made?
Like where the design was made.
Like
Indonesia? Are we talking about countries or are we talking about a company?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what country it was made in. If it was made in USA or Indonesia or China or something.
Well, since they were giving it away to fans, it's probably China or Indonesia or something cheap.
You ready?
Uh-huh.
Everyone gets one guess.
Indonesia.
Thailand.
You're both wrong. Ready?
China.
Made in China.
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 It's made in China.
Wow. All
Oh
right.
yeah, man.
So business is good.
Yeah, business is booming.
So wow, dude. So Moot just gets back from this. All right, we're kind of settling in here. I feel like we're all in shock of this brand new Crest that's been somewhat foisted upon us, but forewarned. We were warned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, I'm glad the leak came out because otherwise, I think if the leak didn't come out and then what came out today, I would be more pissed off. I've had a few days to grieve about it. and think about it and accept it, the 5 stages of acceptance are basically the last 5 days since the leak started coming out. And now I'm at the stage of acceptance. I don't think it's that bad. I think the more I look at it, the more it makes sense. I don't like the color yellow, and nobody likes the color yellow.
If you put white where yellow is, it's not the worst.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it went from being this whole thing is terrible and a mistake to, well, if it was like this, it would be a lot better.
I feel like there could be some tweaks applied that I've seen actually quite a few that would be a lot better. I've showed it to people who are like, to my friends who are not Fire fans, who are like, they know I'm a fan, and I try to give them the unbiased, take. I'm like, Fire are attempting a rebrand, and I didn't want to color them with my opinion. And I just try to give them the straight facts and said, here's the new icon, here's the old icon. And I've asked about 5 people who aren't, and all 5 of them did not like the new icon. They thought it was weird. They thought it was like scrunched. Some people thought it was scrunched. Some people thought it was
the oval is interesting.
Some people were off put by the oval, specifically. These are just people who are not Fire or soccer fans in general.
But those are the people who we want to impress,
right? So I was 5 for 5 on. Oh wow, that looks like garbage. And why did they replace the old one when it looks so much better? And another comment was, it looks like it was like, who designed that? like what?
They went through a marketing firm in New York, and the one interesting opinion, a few interesting opinions that I have are people whose opinions I don't normally like, but regardless, the opinions of some Major League Soccer pundits, guys like Taylor Twellman, or these people who can see it from a broader perspective, from somebody who wants soccer to grow and look at it and go, hey, you know what? Kind of makes sense. I like it. It's growing on me, whatever, which is a lot better than what you're getting out of the Fire community. And frankly, if you had asked me if this was going to happen this way, I would have said yes. I knew this reaction was going to happen, but I thought this reaction was going to happen because Fire fans bitch and moan about everything, and they complain about everything when they don't need to be complaining about it. This one, if you don't like this, this is like this is like the cherry on top for the move to Chicago. And I think in a lot of ways, if you think that they really messed this up, that's a pretty solid opinion.
I think that with this, that right now, I feel like opinions about 15% to 85%. As far as
I think the 15% is just like acceptance.
Yeah, 15% is acceptance, 85% is no. And right now, everybody's hot to trot. Everybody's upset, and they got their hackles are in a bother. And I could see this maybe, and it seems like Fire is set up to accept that. They're in a position where they were ready to accept that backlash, and I feel like backlash was going to come no matter what. But I'm also surprised at the level of backlash. I'm surprised to see how many other fans of other clubs of MLS are weighing in and saying, "Wow, we feel bad for you." That does not look like people paid money for that. It looks like people paid gum to their
I can't remember who it was
to fix that on a MLB game creator.
I saw a tweet, and I can't reiterate it to memory too well, but it was like the idea that maybe at the last minute they had made a decision to change it from SC to FC, and a few other things involved in.
Last minute they added the fire at the end.
They added fire at the end.
Yeah, last minute.
So they were going to do that whole thing without fire with the same color scheme?
They were going to do Chicago FC?
Chicago FC with the same color scheme, yellow and red, without fire.
There's nothing wrong with Chicago Fire.
Which screams out to me they're not going to like this branding. We're adding fire to appease.
They never wanted fire from the beginning.
I knew that a lot of people didn't want fire from the beginning, but I think a lot of people just had to hope that Mansueto wanted fire because he liked the fans. And so that's interesting. I think what's funny is, as much as people hate this whole rebranding and what happened out of it, it was going to be a hell of a lot worse, because now we weren't even going to have fire. We weren't. I mean, that you lose, because I still identify with this team, with the city and Chicago playing soccer, but you take fire out, and I have a hard time identifying.
Without a doubt.
Mm-hmm. And I never thought about that before. But now I'm kind of like, well, crap.
What do they have?
We're going to go to the Chicago FC football match, bruh.
Might as well just be a USL buyout.
Yeah, where's Tom Ricketts, man? Let's go to Lincoln Yards, baby.
And I saw a USL team tweeted out, "Wow, we don't even have a logo, but it's not as bad as yours."
Did you see the Vancouver Whitecaps? What they did on Twitter?
No, can you explain it?
So if you put their logo and the Fire logo together, which by the way, well, I'll make this point afterwards.
No, if you put their logo and RSL's logo.
Well, no, okay, color scheme of RSL, but if you put Vancouver Whitecaps with the new Fire logo with the triangle scheme, it looks like the Vancouver Mountain Caps. And so they made some snarky tweet about it. I can't remember what the comment was, but they like added the Fire, and I was like, damn. Really good. Really good. And I didn't think about them because everyone's just like RSL. I'm like, yep. At one point of marketing, and I'm not a big marketing person, but one point of branding and changing your brand is to separate yourself from the rest of your competitors. I don't know what happened here. I don't really care for the arguments about soccer jerseys being original because, frankly, at this point, every soccer jersey has been made in the world. If it looks good, I don't care. When good jerseys come out, I'm like, that's a clean shirt. And then somebody's like, oh, well, it's like Real Madrid had a baby with so. I'm like, hey, dude, how can you be creative about jerseys anymore? Because the only time you get unique, it gets wild. It gets ridiculous and out of hand. So I don't care about jerseys.
Hot dog jerseys. That's all.
Yeah, right.
Which are ridiculous.
I mean, it's just like, yeah, Brian, our buddy Brian made the joke that it was like up with mustard and down with ketchup. That's why the Fire did that logo.
I saw that. That was funny.
Yeah,
I read this comment on Reddit. There's something so fire about replacing one of the best crests in the league with a knockoff of one of the great crests in the league that is somehow orders of magnitude worse than either.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, who besides us was saying that the Fire crest is such a great crest? And I'm not saying that we should have gotten rid of it. I'm saying, does everybody else outside of our little headspace think that crest is really good?
I've heard that people liked it. Ives Galarsep weighing in says, okay, so after giving it some thought, I'm going to go with no on the Fire badge change. The thing looks like a logo for a hookah bar, not a soccer team. Sad part is the old Fire logo was one of the best in MLS, in my opinion, of all the things that needed changing. That wasn't one. That's Ives Galarsep at Soccer
I like
by
him.
Ives.
He's the one soccer pundit I really, really appreciate. He's like the peak grassroots soccer writer.
Here's Mike McGee's take though.
He's got a good one.
He had a good take too. I see a city in flames, our city. Above it in yellow, I see what we did next, which is build the greatest city in the world. I like the crest. When the club wins, I'll love it.
Yep,
that's quite the endorsement.
I mean, just win, baby. Just win. You could make a logo out of anything. It could be a triangle with nothing else and say nothing. If the Fire win, I don't care. I'll get a triangle tattooed on my arm. Whatever, dude.
What about the people that already have Fire tattooed on there? I don't think it loses value. If anything,
no. I think if anything, it gains value.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I remember reading things and I remember thinking, oh wow, that actually might devalue. I remember thinking the crest change might devalue that to them. But after this. This response, this reaction, I feel like now they're going to treasure it even more.
I'll tell you right now, when I get a Fire tattoo, the first Fire tattoo will be an old logo.
You're gonna get the Florian?
Yeah, either something more traditional. I might just get the damn fire truck. Screw it.
I like the fire truck too. I saw a lot of people tweeting that. Or axes. I saw a couple good ones. Nicole Hack had a good comment about a decent one with like red and black coloring and axe hat. I wanted to read this out to you, to you guys. This was from Delicious Design League, who's just like somebody tagged him and he weighed in on it, and he's apparently just like a design person. Here's my assessment for the new Fire logo and why I don't think it works. It's not about the design. It's about the philosophy behind the redesign. A sports team redesign is typically best done as an evolution, not a revolution. Let me explain. A sports logo is more than colors, shapes, words. It's an avatar for a fan's self-identification. A fan identifies with and puts their emotional connection into that symbol, and symbols are powerful tools. So when you do a redesign, it's typically important to carry over some of the existing elements of that symbol so that emotional connection to the brand can be transferred onto the new symbol. Therefore, when the Fire updated the logo, they changed everything. The new logo has almost nothing in common with the old logo, and by doing so, you can see why it's not being embraced by the fans. They really can't easily transfer this avatar of their emotional allegiance. So, if the team would just kept a few of the symbols, the same colors, shapes, etc., the transition may have been much smoother. This is what I call an evolution. You want to improve and build upon the emotional equity that so few brands can have, like a sports team. Not ignore them and start from fresh, like an expansion team. In my opinion, that was the wrong move from Delicious at Design League at Delicious DL. So I thought that was a really good take.
That's the best way to put it. And I think the words that he had said that really stick out to me, God, there's a few of them in there. But to identify, and the point that he made that I think is the part that really strikes me is that the difference between, I don't remember what term he used, but to change it to an evolution.
Evolution versus revolution.
Right. Okay, exactly. And I think that's maybe even more so why Fire fans are so upset, because they thought maybe they would still identify because it's an analogy to the Chicago Fire still. Which is interesting considering the fact that what we've already heard tonight, that they were trying to leave fire out of it.
Who was trying to leave fire out of it too? Does Matt know?
Was it who? Hey Matt, who was trying to leave fire out of the name? Mansueto. Apparently Mansueto, but he's half asleep. So
all right,
but that is interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, but I think it is interesting. Because then, I mean, would you? I don't know if I believe that, only because it's like, how do you identify this crest, the color, the graphic design of the new website without mentioning fire? Were you going to mention the Chicago Fire and leave the name fire out of the name? So I don't know. I mean, the color scheme is that of like a fire emoji. You know what I mean? Like it's yellow and red. Like the color scheme is yellow and red and all that kind of, and I still have, it's funny because as much as people who identify with the club didn't want the Fire to leave the name, like I was talking to my boss about it today, and some of my coworkers and some other people, and people who are sports fans and don't care about the sport and everything like that, always make the joke about how they named the team after a tragedy. And I'm like, whether you like it or not, that's kind of just the reality of the common. Like they feel stupid supporting the team like they're supporting. And I'm not saying it should change. I'm saying they needed to be taken. This franchise needs to be taken more seriously so that people can identify with it and not see it as something stupid. It's kind of just a cheap excuse to not go to a game.
They got to see it as the some people don't know the history, but it's the galvanizing event that turned Chicago into what it was. And that's what people are trying to convey, of course.
He went into some rant about how it's actually racist against the Irish because of the whole story with Miss O'Leary's cow. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not the team. I'm not really.
Historically, yeah, she was blamed, and it was apparently wrongfully so. And and it might have to do with that, her getting blamed. I don't know if she was Irish or something like that. So it's trying to get
in the section that used to sing that song, late last night when we were all in bed, blah, blah, blah. Miss O'Leary left the lantern in her shed and cow tipped it over, blah, blah, the whole thing. But
that would have been an interesting crest.
Miss O'Leary just the cow, dude. That would have been great. The cow knocking over the lantern,
just
doubling down.
That would be great.
That would be good. If I was a graphic designer, I would definitely be spending the next couple of weeks trying to come up with logos that are worse. Than what.
Wow, I actually think that they've failed completely, because if they had a way, because if you think of like Everton, man, you go to any of those English clubs, any European clubs, and they figure out a way to incorporate what's in their history, whether in some sort of reference. If we had Mrs. O'Leary's cow kicking something, do you understand how awesome that would make our logo and how unique it would make the Chicago Fire? They missed out. I think they really blew it, and that's what they should have. Right? All right? I'm thinking about this right now. Wow, they had a chance to have the most unique event on the planet, one of the most unique events on the planet, a cow seemingly burning down the city. And you could have had something like that.
Damn, that'd be a funny alternate logo, like a third kit.
Yeah,
The third kit logo. Yeah, that'd be sick.
Oh my God. I'm going to read a couple comments from the YouTube verse.
Yeah, let's talk about what people think, because I feel like we're going to get a lot of unanimous opinions, but I think people explain because there is a lot of emotion involved. I think people are going to explain it differently and allow some perspective, because I do want to talk to the people who are mad about it. I'm just trying not to be emotionally involved.
You're trying to stay detached as much as you can, because I mean, this is a big change that we all
It's not necessarily about being detached. It's just like acceptance, and then like I know I'm gonna buy season tickets. I know I'm gonna go to the games. I might as well not hate it. Try to let it grow on me, and just
give it a chance.
Yeah.
We got John Smith clocking in. Did not think that it was going to happen. Audio is good. Jiggly clocking in.
Hi, Jigs.
He says Chicago recognizes no kings. He says no crowns. We'll get into that real quick here.
Yes, we will.
Let's just dig in. So there was this tweet from a person. I got it up here. Let me find it, please. Nico Casas, a crown logo for a sports team in the city of Chicago. The Latin Kings were born here. I grew up in the inner city, and we were taught not to wear crown logos or black and gold to avoid getting shot at. Very tone deaf by the front office for children of color. So that was a very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that hadn't crossed my mind.
A crown logo for a sports team in the city of Chicago. The Latin Kings were born here. I grew up in the inner city, and we were taught not to wear crown logos or black and gold to avoid getting shot at. Very tone deaf by the front office for children of color. So a very concerning point. And I believe I tried asking, I sent out a tweet asking the Garber to comment, quite a few people to try and comment, like just send it out there. Nobody really commented. Some people have, I saw Will Parchman posted yikes in response to reading this. There was some other comments. People were concerned, and so this is definitely possibly something that needs to be looked into.
Yeah.
As far as I was able to tell, Brian Sandalo had asked the Chicago Fire about this, and as far as I'm able to tell, the response they commented and they said, "This is from Chicago Fire front office." Quote, "As a part of the design process, we made the assessment that the fire crown in its entirety is distinguishable and unique." Quote. So that's their statement on supposedly, from what I've assessed here, from what I've interpreted from Brian Sandalo's article on Chicago Sun-Times. Check it out on Brian Sandalo tweeted out at Brian Sandalo, and it's so their comment is that they've determined that it's not going to cause problems.
What the Fire is saying is that they acknowledge this as a possible issue before releasing the logo. I don't know if I believe that, because frankly, like when I saw those things coming out, I didn't even pay attention to it. I was like, this is stupid. Just kind of like how we were talking about how people said that, there's like a fascist emblem in there and all this kind of stuff.
Oh, yes, there's some weird stuff people were seeing in it.
Yeah, and I was like, this is stupid. Like, don't talk about this. But now I didn't really, the whole idea of somebody wearing the merch and then becoming a target is not something that I had considered, which obviously that makes me just as tone deaf as probably a lot of the people in the front office.
You didn't think about it, but also you haven't had that cultural experience of having to realize those implications. So hence I'm saying
that's a wild discussion.
This probably needs to go further than you and I discussing it. Hopefully the people up top and the league and people are going to be, and maybe even city officials in Chicago may need to get involved and maybe just take a closer look, determine that, okay, this is not going to cause problems, or this might. Just take a closer look at it. I think do your due diligence, because the Fire tweeted out saying, "Oh, all this hard work," and I'm like, "No, there's no hard work into this. First of all, you outsourced it to LA and New York," and then I saw Scott G tweeted out the same thing. Ex Fire guy, not X Fire, X Fire SG person, but And also I saw another tweet saying that if they had more people of color involved in the decision, perhaps they would have mentioned the crown issue or something like that. And that was just an allegation. And we really can't really.
Yeah, that's a little more. I mean,
that's a little more. That's a straight up. Yeah.
that changes the subject a little bit. And I don't think it's necessary to leave where the conversation is going in that regard. But
Agreed.
I mean that then you start going down the road of being like, oh, the Chicago Fire front office is too white or something like that. But
yeah,
honestly,
I totally agree. It's not where we want to go.
And I'm not even saying they're wrong. They're probably right, or like, but
a thought.
Or they're out of touch because they're just, they're rich people, whether they're rich, white, black, whatever, that don't deal with those things, that don't work in communities that deal with those things. So, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why that mistake can happen. But if there's also doubling down, and I mean, they're also not going to say that we didn't think about that, because then it opens the window for being like, well, maybe we should change it, which is not, it's just not going to happen. So you have to put your foot down and say, we knew about it and we considered it. And now that the media has brought this to our attention and we have made ourselves aware of it, we hope to God nobody ends up shot with one of our shirts on.
So they're hoping. I mean, I don't want to get too far into it because I feel like this is a touchy subject.
It's a bit of a side topic, but it could be a very big topic if something happens.
Exactly. And so right now it feels weird to me that this club is like, we're going to put out this crest and we're going to hope that nobody gets hurt wearing this crest. That's our best intentions. So I'm just a little concerned, and I hope that they look more to it. We could leave it there, and we'll leave it there.
Absolutely.
But we'll get so negative mentions though. I thought this was a great tweet by Brian Battle. He showed the scores for the redeployments of LAFC for Forward Madison, and those were largely they showed the Google stats behind the positive, or you could see the positive sentiment or negative sentiment. So those two clubs had great positive sentiment, like super overwhelming. Chicago Fire, he clocked it. We got 10 million reach and 76% negative mentions, according to the Google Chicago Fire logo. So a little concerning, and that was he termed that market research, and it absolutely is.
Yeah, I mean, I would have taken with this community. Oh, Colby. Colby's making out with my roommate. What are you doing, Colbs? You bored? You want to talk?
Bub?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would have taken 50-50. 50-50 would have been like amazing, because everyone loves complaining about something new. People don't like change, especially, I mean, people were already not liking the idea of changing anything. So
I expected more 50-50.
Yeah, I would have taken 50-50 because I think that 25% of that 50 that didn't like it would have grown on them or whatever. It's just a matter of an identity crisis. And not only is this an identity crisis, it's an identity crisis because we can't identify with the new stuff.
Ooh. I'm seeing this meme that you were just you were referencing, or we were talking about RSL and Whitecaps. It's a Family Guy. RSL is the elephant. Whitecaps is the penguin. You got like Moses pointing at this other penguin with an elephant head that's got Chicago Fire's new logo on it. It says, "What the heck is this?" That's great.
Oh man.
Here's Luke C26. Could have just had a cow kicking over a canteen or a lantern. That would have been a much cooler logo. Let me tear through. Let me get back to the YouTubers' comments. Actually, I'll say my comment. I right now on the Chicago Fire's webpage, they have their logo plastered up next to Atlanta United logo. And they just look like miles apart as far as like money, time spent. To me, like one looks super cheap, the Chicago Fire one, and the Atlanta one looks like, oh wow, they might actually have world class training facilities.
Oh God, don't even start with me on that, brother.
Nothing says pride for Chicago like hiring firms from LA and New York City.
Yeah, it's not like we don't have marketing and designing firms in the city.
I saw a better design, like in 2 seconds. Jessica Only Child, Illinois, Chicago, put out the exact same logo, and she just tweaked that fire, the weird triple whatever triangles, into like the actual fire, into the actual Chicago star.
Oh wow,
it looks pretty solid. Jason Button, I don't understand how the club stands for Chicago when it won't even stand for its own fan base. This move shows the total disregard Chicago has for the fans who've remained so faithful after many difficult years. Seeing a horrible badge leaked with no input is horrible. I thought that was a pretty good take, but at the same time, I am uninvolved in the process, so maybe it's not accurate.
The problem is we've had run-ins with the front office over the last few years, especially where fans felt they weren't being represented by front office, or they didn't have a say in matters that involved our fan base community, and that can be debated here or there. But the point is that there are hundreds of people in certain supporter sections that didn't feel like that the club they lost identity with the club because there was no connection between them and the front office. And when there's a club as small as ours and any club in Major League Soccer, that needs to exist in order to be successful. And so the moving, and now with all of the unfurling of like every seat's the same price, it's going to be the same season ticket prices. You can sit anywhere for the same price. We're trying to identify with you. Every supporters group of 25 people or more is going to have a say in any meeting. All of these things looked really good to me, to find a way where the front office can identify with the fan base and have meetings. And that's the biggest thing that a fan can identify with the club. The second thing is the identity itself, the badge, the thing that all of these big fans, these original supporters started with, was the badge. And that's how we identify with this club. And they just completely took that away from them without consideration. That's a huge deal. And that's why people are very, very upset, and they're right to be so. I just try to react in a different manner to keep my sanity, I guess. But for people who really love and adore this club and the badge, it would have been nice to have a little bit more of a say. I don't know how you have a say in the matter, because the whole point is to release it without people knowing and then unfurl it and say, hey, here it is. And then everybody shares it. And for marketing reasons, you can't share that with fans without it getting out.
You're having I feel like an athlete's response to this, where you're not going to get too high about it, not going to get too low about it. Speaking of the athlete's response, I feel like Brant Bronico is a fan of the new Crest design. At least I saw him tweeting such.
Knowing him, being good friends with him, he's just a very positive person, and whether he likes it or not doesn't really matter. He's going to
support it.
And I saw people responding, and I wanted to respond to like most of the tweets being like, shut up.
I wonder how the players take it, though. Do you have any idea?
No, I haven't heard anything yet. I haven't even spoken to Brand about it yet. I haven't spoken to any of the players about it yet, but I'm sure we'll hear about that over the next couple weeks, probably. And again, it's going to be the same thing for them too, especially for players who have been here. And, that's the only badge he's worn in Major League Soccer, Brand, and it's going to be a complete change. So it will be interesting to hear what he thinks. But I don't think he's going to say anything that necessarily even wants to be. If it's negative, it's probably not going to be something I can say, but I don't think it's going to be anything. He's still quite grateful he plays for the team no matter what. And there's players who play that wear uniforms that they hate and whatever. But he just tweeted that. People were like, "Oh yeah, they're like, so I'm not even. I was gonna say a swear, and I don't want to anymore." But you get the point of just like, oh yeah, he's like selling out to the club. Somebody said something like that. I'm like, he plays for them.
He plays for the club.
They write his checks, and also he wants to be prideful of the team he's playing for. Do you want him to come out and say that he hates it? What is like everybody it's like a protest culture, not to get too political, but like you're not going to get everything you want out of this.
Some people lack empathy and the ability to put themselves in another person's shoes, and that's definitely the case
fair.
There.
If I was a player for the Fire, I'd either post nothing, which I think it said a lot. I don't think a lot of people posted anything.
Mm-hmm.
I think if it was something that people were happy about. Also, we only have like 6 players on this team anymore.
That's right.
Like, I guess it's a really it's like CJ Sapong, Brant Bronico, and I can't even think of like one more guy, Kappelhoff.
CJ Sapong and Raheem Edwards are back for 2020. This is from Alex Campbell. Neither Nico Kaitan or Alexander Katai will return, meaning all 3 DP spots are now open for the Fire. Goalkeepers David Ousted, and Richard Sanchez will also not be back. So
I'm sad to see David go. He's a good dude.
Here's the roster as it stands, everybody. Kenneth Krang. It's like the guy from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Kenneth Kronholm, Gabriel Slolina. Slolina, all right. We'll have to. Hopefully, he can get in. It stinks that we lost last and they didn't get any game time from him. Jonathan Bornstein, Francisco Calvo, Johan Kappelhoff. Kappelhoff seemed to be a fan of it. At least they used him in the advertisements. Marcelo, Andre Reynolds II. Midfielders, Michael Azira, Brant Bronico, Raheem Edwards, Przemysław Shemek Frankowski, Jeremiah Gujar, who we know plays left back a little bit too. Fabian Herbers, Alvaro Medran, new guy, and Georgi Mihailovic still here, even though I heard that he was potentially not going to be here. And CJ Sapong is for sure here.
Yeah, Miho is here because we can sell him. He was, as of last week or a few days ago, training for a second division German team.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah. Whatever, dude. I don't think he's ever done anything for this club, to be honest. He hasn't done a single thing. He's all hype.
He's won some. He's scored some goals, but I feel like he's also hasn't put.
He scored a couple of good goals, but I mean, like, he doesn't identify with this team. And like, frankly, Paunovic, if he was ever going to use him, never. If we live in a world where our future coach wants to play him, then yes. But otherwise, sell him, because if he's got the potential, then sell it to somebody else, because we're not using it.
That makes sense. And wow, we haven't really even talked about how Paunovic is gone and how Ding Dong the Witch is dead.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. No, because especially with they fired. I mean, they let him go at the right time because I think they knew that this whole thing was coming, and it distracts from the idea. And it's just for whatever reason, marketing wise, numbers wise, when you fire a coach, you fire a manager, the attention goes up, but then you have that space of no news because you haven't hired somebody else. You know what I mean?
Also, Chicago were linked with Garth Lagerwey to try and bring him as technical director or president. I don't know if that's going to actually happen.
Is that the Seattle guy?
That's the Seattle guy. I don't know.
He was the whole. I'm not going to make comments about it, but I love my family, and my family loves being in. I don't think that's going to stick. I think that rumor just came out because he's from here.
Yeah, I think that's the only reason why it came out here. But I wonder also if there is another technical director and that Nelson will be taking a step back, because we read that in Paul Tenorio's article saying that it looks like
yes, that's going to happen.
That is going to happen. Nelson will be taking a step into the background, more so presidential duties, and a technical director will be brought in. Maybe he's already here and maybe already making moves. Maybe that Paunovic sacking was his move. And I wonder if that reflects poorly on Paunovic, or not Paunovic, but on Nelson Rodriguez, because he was like, "Oh, let's keep him." So something to think of.
Yikes!
I got a whole bunch of YouTube comments. Sorry, guys, we've been lagging on these. John Smith, my coworkers, not Fire fans, did not like the new crest either. Jiggly said, "I've gotten similar reactions at school today." John Smith saying, "Looks horrible on the MLS website at the top bar with all the other MLS logos." Rodrigo saying, "Finally another show." Yeah, finally another show. Sorry, I've been super busy. Do what we can. I think if they were to change the crest, they need to start with the Chicago flag. That's definitely an idea there. Yeah. I think the logo could be more accepted. This from John. I think the logo could be more accepted if the team gave us hope, just like Mike McGee was saying. But I feel just as much concerned about the roster now as past years. I feel kind of okay about this roster. Like, I feel like there's.
Is it a roster?
I mean, like, it definitely needs a lot more filling, but it needs a lot more fill. You know what? What am I talking about, dude? I'm falling for I'm drinking the Kool-Aid right now.
Yeah, you're drinking Kool-Aid. You're looking at we have CJ Sapong.
Oh, we have CJ.
And then you name off the players we have, and then you're like, wait, this is like 11 on 11.
Wait, where did Dax go? Where's Schweinsteiger?
Yeah,
who's gonna play right back?
Yeah, no, it's a mess. But 3 DP. Hey, you wanna make an identity out of this? You go find 3 players that you can identify with the rebirth.
Does
Zlatan
identify
Klopas with the way Zlatan? No. I think Chicharito, something like that. But that's a little ambitious. But somebody to get the attention that you associate that new emblem, because people aren't gonna come to games just because, and they weren't going to come just because of the marketing and the logo and the rebrand. They're going to come because they associate that with whatever player they're coming to see. The way people associate Klopas for one of the famous goals he scored at Soldier Field with that badge. The way that you associate, if Fire come out and win MLS Cup year 1 or something like that, they're going to identify that first year as a Fire fan with that logo the way that the Fire fans of old identify their first year winning a cup with that logo. And that's why it's so emotional. And you can recover if you go out there and you win some damn games.
At the moment with this roster, I mean, seeing how incomplete it is at the moment, but US Open Cup might be the only thing they might have a chance with.
The potential is high with a bag of cash and 3 DP slots.
That's true.
All the TAM and the GAM.
And if that's changing too, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows? But they're known. This club is known for swinging and missing, and we don't honestly even know if they're swinging. So
Jiggly saying a lot of MLS has come together to send condolences to Fire fans. John Smith saying, I think the keeping the Fire name was a bone thrown our way, and it sounds like that might be true.
That's exactly what it is.
Jiggly, from what I've heard, Mansueto has been basically had to basically hold back Nelson on the rebrand. That's what Jiggly's saying. This is just what Nelson
holding him back from what? I mean, there's been so much change. I mean, what was his idea? Oh boy, I don't even want to know what Nelson wanted.
This is just what Nelson was able to finally get past him, is what Jiggly was saying. Chad saying, question, any chance we see something similar to the Leeds United logo where there was so much backlash over the logo that they changed it? I think it's possible.
No.
I don't I feel like the club's first response is like double down no. And
I would say no, because Leeds didn't rebrand. They changed the logo. The color scheme changed the same. The idea changed. Or stayed the same. Leeds, all they had to do was revert back and say, whoops, sorry. This is a whole overhaul. This is a whole new thing of merch. This is a whole new marketing scheme. This is billboards up and down the Eisenhower. They're doubling down.
I also saw Watford Football Club over in EPL just announced they are keeping their crest. They apparently had a fan vote.
They had a fan vote. Yeah, and it was like 60-40. And what they did was put out the new crest and say, hey, you like this?
And so, wow, it's crazy, though, that was
60-40 means that people really liked the new brand,
yeah,
the new logo.
Like they did not like it as much as they're liking the Fire logo right now.
Yeah,
because that's 15-85, at least according to Google, to the Google results we're reading. Margaret saying, just popped in to say hello. We'll hopefully catch up tomorrow. Hey, Margaret, what's going on?
Hi, Margaret.
A lot of general MLS writers have said that it was one of the best crests around. That's Jiggly saying that. Rodrigo saying, yes, non-Fire fans did like our old crest, supposedly. I was reading about on Reddit. It seemed like the consensus around MLS was like they did not like our new crest. They liked our old crest. But of course,
they like it a lot more now.
I wonder. I mean, hey, if we start winning, then they'll become to fear it.
Yeah.
If they come up with a roster with quality, I'll get over the logo. Right now, I don't have confidence.
Yep.
That's from John. Brian,
how could you? Yeah, how could you?
Brian, the Oakbrook Picker. Brian, the Oakbrook Picker. We need Dennis Green to crown their butts. The front office is who we thought they were. Who we thought we were. The Dennis Green, the Arizona coach.
And we let him off the hook.
Yeah, we let him off the hook. Dang, Devin Hester sneaking that back. Nelson. Nelson likes to finish. Nelson likes to finish people. Based on the end of season press conference. Oh, he was reading some book talking about stuff, Finnish terms. Cow tipping contests. Need more of them in Chicago. Mr. Santoyo, not happy one bit. We are a bigger laughing stock than before. That's an interesting comment. Brian saying, as long as the name stays and they don't bring in good players to join, I'm okay. Wait, what? Let me read that. As long as the name stays and they bring good players to join, I'm okay. But I agree. I don't like the colors. The new logo should have had a fire truck or an axe or a star of the flag of Chicago. Something more in the style of an evolution rather than a revolution. That was my own aside. Mr. Santoyo, at least we leave it to the men in red. Where's the red? I believe some other people on were talking about that. Fred Huebner was talking about that. He was sad about men in red being leaving. I'm not so sure about. I'm like, we could become something else.
If you're gonna be red, it would be because you went back to the old design of the classic kit with just red and white. Other than that, they love the navy blue.
And the classic kit was so sick.
Yeah, they're sick.
Remember Nelly's field trip to the city where there were gunshots? Whoa, I don't remember that. My point about the crown is this is Jiggly. My point about the crown is more about the idea that Chicago is not affiliated with any sort of monarchy. New York calls itself an empire. Also, Los Angeles is a fairy tale kingdom. Chicago is a family. Also has no mountains, which I've seen those triangles being confused for. Chicago is a family. No crowns, no kings. Chad saying the Fire sign the players checks. They obviously won't bash it on social media, as you were saying.
Yep. No, of course.
Jiggly saying Nelson wanted a total rebrand. We don't know if he knows that.
What is this?
But that's possible. John Smith saying, when is the next big media event? Roundtable? No idea. Chad saying, saw the jersey leak with the blue being the main color. Do we need a new chant? Come on, you men in blue. Or come on, you men in mustard, says Rodrigo.
one thing I
like
will say
that.
about that. One thing about men in mustard is dope.
Yeah, I like men in mustard.
I don't buy into the whole spiel about not putting ketchup on a hot dog or whatever. I think it's stupid, but yeah. I'm buying into it now.
I won't, but I'll eat my couple hot dogs, ketchup, mustard, onion. But
if you look at the leaked road jersey, I like it a lot. In the sense that, like, if you look down towards the bottom of the shirt, they do have the 5 flag or the 5 stars.
The away jersey looked pretty good.
I think when you get the actual full scope of it, I think the color scheme, I think it's actually like a powder lighter blue in the stomach, kind of fading away. So that it's actually like a city flag jersey.
Yeah, I saw that too. Exactly what you're referencing, and it looked really good. I remember thinking, wow, that simple, away jersey might actually be the better jersey.
Right. Yeah, I think so too. I hate the navy. I hate it. Well, I hate Adidas too, honestly. I don't like the stripes and the shoulders. I personally don't like any of that stuff, but I didn't expect the home jersey to be very good this year. What I will say is that the mustard yellow blends in on the sleeve cuffs. I have like 3 stripes of like the primary colors. I think that looks really cool.
And I wonder. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, you.
No, I was just finishing my stay. I think it looks really good.
I wonder if Adidas is going to get all these kits done. I was reading comments saying that they might not be able to.
Well, that's why. I mean, that's also why the Fire can't go back and get another logo or anything like that, even if they wanted to, because Adidas has such harsh deadlines. I think they could get a couple extra weeks because I don't think they're going to need to pump out as many jerseys this year as I thought they might have to. Nobody's buying these things.
I saw Marty tweet out saying that Adidas might think of MLS as a type of cash cow because it's of how they treat it. I also saw a counter comment from a person from Germany saying that I have friends who work at Adidas and they don't think of MLS as a cash cow. They just don't care about it at all. Basically, it was saying.
Right. It's not even they don't spend the time because why would they have to? You know, I mean, they're selling jerseys all over the world. Real Madrid, Manchester United. You know, like, why do they care? Did I lose my video?
Just a little bit. Yeah, it's popping in and out.
There it goes. Oh, it gave me low battery mode, so I think it turns my camera off when I do that.
Brian the Picker, right. They did volunteer a day for Habitat for Humanity with the team on the west side, and a gunfight broke out like a block away. It was a few years ago.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Didn't know that.
That's exclusive. Wow, that's crazy.
Oh, dear.
All right, man. I think we're starting to wrap it up here. Everybody on YouTube, thanks for coming. Thanks for stopping by. Smash that like button for Kyle coming here, telling us everything, talking fire with us. Smash that like button, spread the fire. Retweets always appreciated. We're available on all the. I can't even remember all of them, but we're available on everything basically. All those crazy podcast ones. What is it? Stitcher. What's the other one?
Are you on Spotify?
We're on Spotify.
Oh, cool.
Dude, we're on so many. We're on TuneIn. We're on iPad. We're on iPhone, or what is it? No, Apple.
iTunes.
We're on iTunes, Apple. We're on Google Play. We're on everything. So we're out there. Like and subscribe for more Spitting Fire. Smash this like button. Let us know that we did some good work here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Dude, wow. So I mean, I feel like we've gone through a whole bunch of stuff here.
We could have talked. I mean, we could have talked about this forever, but I think everybody comes back to the same consensus, and it's just a matter of getting through the winter and seeing what this team can do, and see if we can put a team on the field that makes this badge represent more than just the hollow shell that it is right now.
You put Robert Lewandowski behind that badge. I mean, it certainly is gonna change a lot of people's sentiments.
Right. Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna happen. If anything, we could close out with a couple ideas for names for either coaches or for technical directors or for players. I would like to see. I would wonder if Mueller would be an option. Bring him over.
Are you thinking international or domestic?
I was thinking Mueller would be an easily international, but
are we talking? I thought we were talking coaches.
You could go. You're going to need domestics to come onto this roster.
Yeah. And excuse me, there was a rumor that never got out. But at one point before Pulisic went to Chelsea, Fire were in talks to get him on loan.
Wow, that's awesome.
Isn't that funny?
That's crazy. I wonder if we could go get Matt Polster.
Bring him back.
Maybe bring him back. Maybe bring him back on loan for right back.
Yeah.
I wonder if that would do something.
I think you can build this team around, like a lot of domestic guys, like in LFC, where like you put the international guys where it matters, and you get a lot of younger domestic guys that get the ball around. They went and got Fellhaber. They went and got a couple of guys because it's not just about being good in this league. It's about being in this league and knowing how to exist in it. That's what Schweinsteiger did a really good job of adapting to MLS and knowing how to deal with it. Because I think Dak showed him a little bit about how to maneuver. It's a different pace. It's a different skill, and you have to use your skill to the best. And some of the best players in the world wouldn't do as well here necessarily because they might be too fast for the game, for example.
Very true.
So you have to. It's a whole other concoction of chemicals and of mixing the right players together. Because if you put a bunch of Dax McCartys in the midfield and the back, and then you put two quick ass guys up top, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to mesh well. So my guess, I don't know what this team is capable of bringing in a lot of people, especially to identify. Lewandowski being like the highest goal. But domestically speaking, I would like to get some veteran guys somewhere between 24 and 28 years old.
Is Drew Connor type veteran?
Yeah, but I don't want to say better than Drew Connor, but more, somebody that's starts, go get guys that have played and have seen playoff games and score goals. Mm-hmm. Some intelligence. I would have loved to keep Basti around in a coaching role or something like that for a year, but
is he gone for good, or is he going to be around in any capacity? Have you heard anything?
He's broadcasting in Germany.
Oh, so that's a done deal.
He's gonna go look like you wearing the mic like that. So
Jorge chiming in. This new logo is, he calls it quote unquote logo, is absolutely horrible. I can't even look at it for more than 3 seconds. Chad saying should change all of our profile pics to the old logo. And in fact, I was on Reddit.
That's what everybody's doing. Yeah.
I kind of wish that on Reddit they had already changed it to the new logo. I'm like, hey, can we put this to a vote?
Right.
I guess I'd rather keep the old logo personally, but at the same time, we're gonna have to kind of get to your level where we're gonna have to have some sort of acceptance of this.
Some players that identify with this new team.
Yep.
And let's go win some games. Let's go score some goals at Soldier Field. Let's get people in the building, and we'll be way more excited about this brand. And we'll look at it. Its perspective completely changes.
We need something that's promising. Look at what's going on over at the White Sox. They have a promising team.
And they got Yosmani Grandal, and everybody's pooping their pants.
But before that, they were able to get people like Eloy and Robert, right, and just like some of their other guys, and even
they're building a team.
Even their Cuban first baseman who's been there for years. What's his face? Abreu. It's just like having him there as like a nice guy to kind of build around. That was like at the start. It was a slow build process. Rick Hahn's been able to build something. It looks like it might be something good. Hopefully the Fire can do something the same.
Well, the nice thing is when you got a big bag of change and some ambition here and a whole new team, the thing about soccer is that you can go out and get guys way quicker with transfers. MLS not so easy. Europe is a little bit easier with windows. But if you want to go out and spend money, you can go out and spend money. Mm-hmm. This isn't like you're playing in one league like Major League Baseball or the NBA where you have to like trade. You can't just get rights to players. If somebody wants to leave, they can leave.
And you're only going to be able to go in league for MLB, for NFL. Right. Unless you're going to get like a rugby guy and you're still taking a chance.
We're not going to trade him there. That's it. We're not going to trade Chris Bryant to the Cardinals. They're in our division. That doesn't exist. You can go across the water to how many countries in the world where there are players in leagues better than MLS. You have so much room to build a team. It's just like out of a video game to go pull players that it's not easy. Obviously, it's not a lot of negotiating. You have to, time is a factor, but you can go get guys and you can give it a shot.
And you really hope that having Atletico Madrid scouting, same scout stuff, and Real Madrid, same scout stuff, like at your disposal, you could really find a couple gems.
Yeah. And more so, it's not even about finding them for this franchise as it is convincing them to come play here. So playing in the city is a huge deal, and that's going to be a huge deal in getting guys bigger name 4-star, 5-star players because showing them Toyota Park is just not we were never going to get players there.
And I also wonder about the new. We need new training facilities.
Yeah. I do want to know what the deal is with the Bears facility and the weight rooms and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, it's still not that big there, but it's much better than. I mean, the space alone is different than what these players are used to. So
that change has got to be somewhat positive.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, man. I think we've covered the gamut. Any final thoughts?
Nope. I think we move forward into talking about, let's just get back in the rumor mill, man. I'm good.
Let's move past this.
Let's go.
This uncomfortableness.
We'll be buying season tickets in a couple weeks, and then we'll be talking about who we can go get, and that'll be interesting. But I think this rebrand lives and dies in about a week, and then we start talking about where this team goes to build it, because clearly we don't have a team right now.
Don't let the new Crest ruin your day. Just don't let it ruin your day. Don't let it rain on your parade. You could think what you want about it. Just think, maybe they may think that they made a mistake. But hopefully with some time, we could, some of these wounds will heal for everybody involved. Because all of us, every single Fire fan, from Mike McGee on down to us, the fans, I'm just saying, players, everybody had an affinity for that Crest, and that affinity is not going to leave. So that still remains, and now it's out with the old and in with the new, and we kind of got to get along to get along. So let's make some moves. Let's go forward. It's like you're saying, it's just time to start moving forward. Let's go.
Yep, and fuego.
Dude, this has been cathartic a little bit for me, because I've been like, I'm not on it, but I'm feeling a little bit more of the ability to maybe let go.
Yep. And if I can do that now and then find, we'll see what happens next year.
But if they change it back, now here's what I'll say this. I got two options for you. The three options. A, they change it back. B, they revolutionize properly. They do some sort of better amalgamation of it. Or C, they double down on this exact Crest. I mean, those are going to be basically the three responses we're looking at.
They're doubling down. You don't have an option. Mm-hmm. You just don't. They don't, even if they don't have an option. So it's the 5 stages of denial or whatever, but everyone will get around to it. They'll show up and support the club, because at the end of the day, everyone wants to support Chicago soccer. And if, you're not going to not do that because of the branding. You're just not. So, and
the biggest and the best thing about this rebrand today is how big of a actual physical splash this made. So many people got wet and covered, and people who weren't even paying attention at the pool, they're over getting a suntan, like way far from the lazy river. This was a plutonic this was a huge bomb going off of the pool, like it just a big cannonball of just got everybody wet. This wet the whole world, this idea. So now everybody, might be thinking a little bit more about the Chicago Fire than they originally were. So there's the better case scenario, I guess, of this whole business.
Yep. Well, we'll see where it goes, but we'll talk again soon, and hopefully we have some. This is about as peak as the news gets right now until we start bringing people in. So
absolutely, let's go. Hopefully, bring in some studs.
Oh yeah, man. We'll do this again soon.
All right, Kyle, dude. Thanks for stopping by, man. Yep. Thanks for everything. I'll see you guys later. Thanks, everybody. Smash the like button.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Follow Kyle on Twitter. I'll put out his information. Thanks for Moot with the update, bringing the update news.
That one piece of news, yeah.
And take care of Puppy and everything, and we'll see you guys later.
Later, buddy.
All right, later, brother.
Good night.
All right, guys, signing off. I'm going to put up the closing music. We'll see you guys later next time. Thanks for joining. Check us out on all those apps, and make sure to like, share, retweet, blah, blah, blah. We always appreciate it. We'll see you guys next time. Wrong song.